Ruben Amorim's journey to the Old Trafford hot seat didn't start on the touchline. It began with an injury that should have ended his career. But here's the thing, that setback changed everything. Amorim's path to becoming Manchester United's manager is full of surprises. Want to know how a busted arm led to one of football's most unexpected stories? We're about to show you Amorim's incredible journey from injured player to Premier League boss. The broken arm that almost broke his dreams. Life could throw some real curveballs, and for Ruben Amorim, it was a doozy. Picture this, he's a teenager, just kicked out of Benfica, the club he'd loved since he was a child. Dreams? Crushed. To make matters worse, he's got a broken arm. Talk about a rough start. But here's where things get interesting. His buddy, Bruno Simão, a friend since they were 9, shows up with this wild idea. Simão's not about to let Amorim give up. He's like, hey, why don't you try out for the Belenenses? Amorim's not convinced, but Simão's got that look in his eye. You know that one. Simão starts working his magic, talking to the coach, convincing him to give Amorim a shot. Amorim's hesitant at first, but Simão's persistent pays off. Don't worry, he tells Amorim. I'm sure the coach will see you and you'll stay with us. So Amorim shows up to the trial game, arm in cast. The coach takes one look at him and tells everyone to take it easy on him. It's a pretty surreal scene, right? But here's the thing about Amorim. He's got something special. Against all odds, he makes it through the game, and guess what? He's in. He's actually made the team. From being kicked out of his dream club to landing a spot on a new team, it's quite the turnaround. But hold on, folks, because this is just the beginning of Amorim's wild ride. He's got his foot in the door, sure, but now he's got to prove he belongs there. And let me tell you, he's about to do that in a big way. Remember that fire in Amorim's belly we talked about? Well, it's about to spark something incredible. How does a guy with a healing arm become a star player in just a few short years? Let's find out. Amorim's got his foot in the door of the Belenenses, but he's still the new guy trying to prove he belongs. But here's the thing about Amorim. He's got this unstoppable drive. We're talking about a guy who showed up to trial with a broken arm. It's not your average player, folks. Picture this. December 14th, 2003, Amorim's on the bench, heart pounding. The coach nods his way. Boom. He's on the pitch for 1 minute in a 2-0 win against Alverca. It's his Primeira Liga debut. He's made it to the big leagues, but Amorim's not settling for cameo appearances. He puts in the work. His arm heals, and he starts to show his true potential. The coaches can't ignore it. This kid's something special. Now let's jump to the 2005-06 season. Amorim's becoming a regular fixture in the team, and he's just getting started. By 2007-08, he's not just playing, he's a key player. Get this, in that season, Amorim starts 28 of the 29 league games. That's 2,491 minutes on the pitch. His efforts helped Belenenses finish 8th in the league. Not bad for a guy who almost didn't make the cut, right? Amorim didn't just overcome his setbacks, he used them as stepping stones. That broken arm, that rejection, they became the foundation for his success. He took those obstacles and built a career out of them, proving he wasn't just good enough, he was essential. So there you have it. In a few short years, Amorim goes from the kid with a broken arm to a key player for Belenenses. What a journey, right? But hold on tight, because Amorim's story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. The comeback kid returns to Benfica. As we roll into 2008, a familiar face comes knocking at Amorim's door. Benfica, the same club that rejected him as a teenager, now wants him back. Amorim's not that scared kid with a broken arm anymore. He's a proven player with something to prove. So what does Amorim do? He comes back and makes his mark. That fire in his belly we talked about earlier, it's burning brighter than ever. Amorim's here to make a statement. Let's talk about his first season back at Benfica. Amorim doesn't waste any time. He becomes a regular starter playing in 24 league games. The guy they once thought wasn't good enough is now one of the first names on the team sheet. Roll on to the 2009-2010 season and things get even better. Amorim's become a part of the Benfica midfield, helping them dominate games. And guess what? All that hard work pays off. Benfica wins the league title in 2010, their first in 5 years. And who's right there in the thick of it? You guessed it, Ruben Amorim. But that's not all. Amorim's catching the eye of the national team too. In 2010, he makes his debut for Portugal. The kid who once had a broken arm is now representing his country on the international stage. From rejected teenager to key player in the title-winning team and international footballer, Amorim's journey shows his incredible resilience and determination. But his story doesn't end here. His biggest challenges and greatest triumphs were still to come. Amorim's transition from star midfielder to rookie coach was no small feat. As 2019 rolled around, he faced a challenge that would test everything he'd learned on the field. He started his coaching journey with Casapia, a third division team most people have never heard of. And it wasn't easy. His first 2 games, losses. Amorim, being who he is set himself a tough goal. If I lose the third, I'm out. But here's where it gets cool. Amorim wasn't about to give up. He switched up his tactics, going with a back 3 for the first time ever. And guess what? The team went on an unbeaten run. It was like he'd found his coaching groove, seeing the game in a whole new way. Now, Amorim didn't just jump into coaching without prep. He joined the Lisbon Football Association for his coaching license and even did a post-grad course in psychomotor education. And get this, he spent a week learning from Jose Mourinho. Pretty impressive, right? But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The unbeaten run, it got cut short when Amorim got suspended for a year. Why? He was giving instructions during a match without having the right coaching level. Oops. But you know Amorim, he kept pushing forward. Here's something interesting. Amorim was set to return to Benfica as an under-23 coach, but he turned it down. It's like he knew bigger things were coming his way. So there you have it. Amorim's first steps into coaching were full of ups and downs. Losses, wins, suspensions, and some bold moves. But through it all, Amorim kept pushing himself, always ready to learn and grow. This was just the start of a coaching journey that would take him places he never imagined. And trust me, what comes next is pretty amazing. Sporting. You think Amorim's rise so far has been impressive? Well, Sporting CP was about to make a gamble that would shock the football world. In 2020, Sporting CP was in a mess. They hadn't won a league title in 18 years. But then they looked at Amorim and thought, this guy could turn things around. With just 2 months of top-flight coaching experience, Sporting shelled out 10 million euros to get him, the 3rd highest transfer fee for a coach ever. People thought Sporting had lost their minds, but Amorim just got to work. He wasn't interested in what people were saying. He had a job to do, and he was going to do it his way. So what did Amorim do? He brought in young players and changed up the tactics. Sporting started winning. He spotted talent in guys like Pedro Goncalves and Nuno Mendes, who quickly became key players for the team. Amorim's tactical skills were impressive too. He set Sporting up in a 3-4-3 formation that proved highly effective. The team was playing some of the best football Sporting fans had seen in years. Fast forward to May 2021, Sporting wasn't just winning games, they were dominating the league. And then it happened. They clinched the title, becoming champions for the first time in 19 years. Can you imagine the scenes? The fans were going wild, and players were in tears. And Amorim? He was standing there taking it all in. But that's not all. Sporting didn't just win the league. They did it without losing a single game. That's right, they went the entire season unbeaten. It's the kind of thing you read about in history books. Not something you'd expect to see in modern football. Amorim had transformed Sporting CP into champions against all odds. From a struggling team to unbeaten champions in just 1 season, that's what you call a turnaround. Manchester, the next chapter. After pulling off the impossible at Sporting CP, Amorim's next challenge was Manchester United. It's 2024 and United's in trouble. They need a savior, and who do they turn to? You guessed it, Ruben Amorim. He's stepping into the struggling team once again, but this time it's different. This is Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Let's talk about United when Amorim arrives. They're a far cry from their glory days under Sir Alex Ferguson. No Premier League title in over a decade, struggling to qualify for the Champions League. The Old Trafford faithful are restless and the board's desperate for change. But Manchester United isn't Sporting CP. We're talking global spotlight, millions of fans worldwide, and sky-high expectations. Amorim's got to rebuild a squad, change a losing mentality, and compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. Oh, and did we mention the pressure to bring back the glory days of Ferguson? No big deal, right? So what's Amorim's plan? Well, he's not here to play it safe. He's bringing his bold tactics to Old Trafford. We're talking high-intensity pressing and a focus on developing United's academy stars. It's a brave new world for the Red Devils, and Amorim's leading the charge. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is Amorim's toughest challenge yet. Can he do for Manchester United what he did for Sporting? Will he be the one to finally bring the Premier League title back to Old Trafford? One thing's for sure, it's going to be one heck of a ride. Amorim's appointment marks a new chapter in his career, bringing his unique approach to one of the world's biggest stages. And if history is anything to go by, you might want to keep your eyes on Manchester United, because when Amorim's involved, amazing things have a funny way of happening. From a kid with a broken arm to the man tasked with fixing Manchester United, Amorim's story is truly remarkable. He's gone from rejected player to tactical genius, and now he's got the biggest job in English football. Amorim's reputation precedes him. Bruno Fernandes and Jose Mourinho both praise his skills, with Fernandes believing he could succeed in various leagues and Mourinho highlighting his intense style. Sounds like Manchester United's in for some excitement. So what's next for Amorim and United? Well, you'll just have to stay tuned to find out. But given Amorim's track record of overcoming challenges, his impact on the Red Devils is sure to be fascinating. This could be the start of a new chapter for both Amorim and Manchester United. Hey, GOF, you think he'll do better than that Ten Hag?
Like and subscribe.